A high school senior shot to death while doing the stunt, his friends say, for a TikTok video. Now the homeowner, Tyler Chase Butler, arrested and accused of second-degree murder.
So I actually uploaded a short about this a while ago, but I decided to actually go back and make a full video on it. More news outlets have given me information about this case, as well as Atozy uploading a new video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, a while ago there was an 18-year-old who filmed a Ding Dong Ditch challenge, and at the time it was alleged that this 18-year-old was banging extremely loudly on the door. We didn't know what time it happened at, but the homeowner came out and shot them. But now we do have a little bit more information to go off of, and I really want to talk about this because I feel like this was a situation that could have been easily avoided. I feel like recently a lot of people in society have been trying to go viral to the point where they get fatally injured. But anyway, without further ado, let's get straight into it. Hit that subscribe button. It's free.
Tonight, an arrest for murder in Virginia after teens tell authorities an age-old childhood prank, the Ding Dong Ditch, turned deadly. A high school senior shot to death while doing the stunt, his friends say, for a TikTok video. Now the homeowner, Tyler Chase Butler, arrested and accused of second-degree murder. The Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office saying in a press release it was 3 a.m. Saturday morning when they got a call for a burglary in progress where shots were fired.
I would like to add, a lot of people are actually in support of the shooter, not because he killed somebody, but because they understand why he did it. Everyone should keep in mind this is a byproduct of the door kick challenge where you bang on the door extremely loudly. So it was fully possible that this guy actually thought he was getting robbed. The problem is he's in Virginia. Virginia is not a stand your ground state, but they do have a different law where if someone does enter your house or tries to break into your house, you can shoot them. The big issue is the 18-year-old never entered the home, therefore he couldn't have shot in Virginia, whereas in other states he probably would have been able to. So Virginia is going to look at this like a murder case.
Deputies found 2 people with gunshot wounds on the scene. 18-year-old Michael Bosworth Jr. was transported to a local hospital where he died just hours before his high school prom. His stepfather telling me he was a student athlete who played lacrosse, football, and wrestled, now gone. Another teen grazed with a bullet, telling investigators, according to court records, they weren't trying to break into the home to steal anything. They were just ringing doorbells and running away. And a third teen, not shot, telling authorities the same story and showing police a similar video from earlier that night. The question is whether a resident can claim self-defense in such a case.
In Virginia, if you are going to use lethal force, you have to be in fear from the perspective of a reasonable person of bodily harm, great bodily harm, or death.
This is another thing I wanted to touch on. A lot of people, especially at 3 a.m., are going to assume that their house is getting broken into, especially since we don't know what happened previously. This guy could have been drinking. It's even possible, what if this dude had something else in his system? And I do think it was a really bad decision for teens pulling this type of prank to do it at 3 a.m. of all times. When it's 3 a.m., people are not going to be thinking clearly. It's going to be a major difference at night because people have a different mindset. And it really does sadden me that someone ended up losing their life over this because he was only 18.
The sheriff's office saying the butler is held on no bond at a local jail. We haven't been able to reach him or an attorney. The investigation is still ongoing and may uncover if it really was a ding-dong ditch that led to shots ringing through this neighborhood and a young life lost. Drew Wilder, NBC Washington.
Now, I have seen a couple of takes about this, which in my opinion weren't the best takes, but I do understand why people have them. Some people are being extremely callous towards the 18-year-old in the situation because they're just calling him stupid, saying that this wasn't even worth it. And it is easy to look back and say things like that, but we have to remember this guy is extremely young and naive. He did this with 2 other friends, so it is easily possible that he tried to impress his friends. We don't know the full situation. I also find it extremely sad that he had to die, especially right before his prom. Apparently, his girlfriend wore his pink bow tie to prom, and that is such a heartbreaking thing to hear. No one, especially someone that young, should have to go through that. So my heart really does go out to the family. But I've also seen quite a few people coming at the shooter, and I understand why, but a lot of people don't understand the situation. We don't know exactly what happened, and it sounds like from his story that he generally was startled. Not to mention, this guy had no idea who he was going to be killing. The thing about pranks like this is the people that they're pranking don't know it's a prank. And because these people don't know that it's a prank, this has led to other people dying in the past. A lot of people might remember Tanner Cook from a while ago, who was following someone around a store calling them a predator until they ended up getting shot. And also, a lot of people just follow TikTok trends blindly, not understanding that a lot of them are fake. Which brings me to the challenge that inspired this one in the first place, the door kick challenge.
TikTok challenge that involves kicking a front door before the occupants answer plays out over and over, many asking not to be identified for fear of being targeted.
It got to the point where it was frightening, and all of a sudden it would sound like the whole door was coming in.
But last Sunday, Owen May, a resident who did not want to speak on camera, decided enough was enough. He says he and his neighbors had repeatedly reported the incidents to police, but when nothing was done, he set up a tripwire with fishing line under his door. Then he shared this video.
Once again, this is a prank that is only a prank to the prankster. And I'll be honest, I don't blame people for setting up traps like this. Kicking in somebody's door can have a lot of consequences because what if it breaks? If that door were to break, it would endanger the entire family because how are they supposed to be safe with a door that doesn't lock?
Shows May's wife pouncing on the young man.
Police investigation in order to determine what's appropriate.
But May is defending his actions, and so are his neighbors.
I think the police didn't pay enough attention to the homeowner.
It's been playing hard on him.
And while posting the challenge may rack up the likes online, here in the real world, no one is getting a kick out of it.
I will say, at the end of the day, with the information that I currently have, I feel bad for everyone involved. There was a life lost and a life ruined over this whole situation that could have been easily avoided by just not happening in the first place. I feel like the biggest issue is a lot of people don't know that these trends are fake. Another issue is I don't think people weigh the consequences of their actions before doing the trend. Because I feel like if a lot of people took a minute to step back before doing any of these trends, a lot of these situations wouldn't have even happened. Not to mention, the risk is not worth the reward. You don't end up going viral from doing these trends, believe it or not, because the trend isn't as unique as you think. You're not unique for kicking in someone's door. You just look like an idiot for doing it.
Tonight, an investigation into a weekend shooting in Spotsylvania County. The entire community is debating the details of a case where 3 teenagers accused of breaking and entering a home on Mackenzie Lane were shot at. 2 of the teens were shot, one of them, a high school senior, killed. Northern Virginia Bureau reporter Drew Wilder explains why this story is drawing so much debate.
Is this the case of a homeowner defending their property legally against potential burglars? Or is this a case of a TikTok prank gone horribly wrong? Maybe it's even a little bit of both. These are the questions prosecutors here at the Spotsylvania County Courthouse are trying to answer tonight.
A question that just came into my head is, would the teenagers that are remaining possibly be facing charges? Because they worded it as a possible home invasion, so if the guy actually does have a good defense that he assumed that his house was being robbed, would they face charges then? I want everyone to keep in mind, I don't think they should face charges, or if they do, that they should be extremely minor. Because at the end of the day, I feel like this was just a prank gone wrong.
18-year-old Michael Bosworth Jr. was a senior at Massaponax High School in Spotsy. His stepfather says Michael played lacrosse, football, and he wrestled. But at about 3 a.m. Saturday, just hours before the high school prom later that night, Michael was shot and killed by a homeowner on Mackenzie Lane. The homeowner, who has not been named nor charged with any crime, says Michael and 2 other teens tried to break into their house. News 4 knocked on the door of the home, but no one answered. Tonight, the Spotsylvania County Commonwealth's attorney is reviewing the evidence to determine if charges are appropriate or if this was a justifiable.
So obviously, now that we're in the future, I can tell you that he's probably going to be facing 13 years for the gun charges alone. But the biggest question on my mind is if he's actually going to get a murder charge. Because personally, I think it could go either way. I can understand why he would be in fear for his life, but I can also understand why people would call it a murder. But I guess that's for the court to decide. I'd like to take a moment to thank everybody for supporting me. I really do appreciate all of you. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel as it really does help me out, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.